Hi, I'm Jill at engVid.com, and today we're having a lesson on confusing pronunciations and spellings. Okay, I've got three main examples for you of confusion because sometimes they're spelt in the same way but they are pronounced differently. Okay, so let's start. So the first one is this word, B-O-W, which can be pronounced in two different ways. Okay, if it's this, it's a bow, either a bow tie or a ribbon with a bow in your hair, or if you tie your shoelaces in a bow. Okay, so that's a bow. So for example, you can say she has a bow in her hair, and it's this sort of shape, maybe a ribbon tied into a bow. Or he is wearing a bow tie. So instead of a long tie, a bow tie, like that. Okay, so that's bow. So that's pronounced like O, bow. Okay, but then there's another kind of word, spelt the same but pronounced differently, bow. Okay, so it's like this here. If you do this, usually men bow, women curtsy. If this is when you meet the Queen, men bow, women curtsy. So men do this, bending. Men often bow when they meet the Queen. So this one is like OW, if that helps, ow. So bow, bow, and they're spelt exactly the same. So you can only tell, if you're reading it, you can only tell from the context which one it is. If someone is speaking, you can tell from the pronunciation. Okay, bow, bow. Right, so moving on to the second example, completely different, but there's one little confusion with this one. Words that end ATCH. Okay, so usually it's just one letter in front of ATCH. So we have words like batch, catch, hatch, latch, match, patch. You may not know the meaning of those, I'll tell you in a second, but they all have this short A sound, like with apple. Okay, when you say apple, A, like that. Batch, catch, hatch, latch, match, patch. But this, with the time on it, is a watch. So it's not a watch, it's a watch. So it's a short O sound, O, as in orange. So it's apples and oranges, really. So A and O, so a watch. I realised this when a student of mine who is in Russia said koch. And I thought, koch? And when she typed it, wrote it via Skype, I saw it was catch. So I realised then, she was thinking of watch and saying koch, but it's wrong. It's catch. So watch is the only one I can think of that has this short O sound. Okay, so we know what a watch is. A batch, if you don't know what a batch is, it's like a set of things, like bread rolls in a batch of 6 or a batch of 12 rolls of bread, a batch that go into the oven to be baked all together. That's a batch. To catch, if someone throws a ball to you, you try to catch it. Ooh. Hatch, if there's an egg and the bird is sitting on the egg, keeping it nice and warm, and then one day the shell starts to break and a little beak comes out and the little baby bird is hatching. That's to hatch, when the egg breaks and the little baby bird comes out. That's to hatch. A latch is on a door to close the door. Sometimes it's just something that goes over and it closes the door. That's the latch. Okay? A match is something hope you don't smoke cigarettes, but to light a cigarette, people often use a match, a little wooden, it's got a red or brown tip on it and a piece of wood, and you go like that with it, and you get a flame and you light the cigarette. Or you may be lighting a fire, you strike a match and you light the fire with it. Okay? Match. Match can also mean putting two things together that are the same, or colours that match. The purple and blue, maybe you think, oh yes, purple and blue, they go together well, they match. So two totally different meanings of match. And patch, if you have a hole in your elbow or in your trousers, you put an extra piece of material on there to cover the hole, and that's a patch. Okay, right, so that's the meaning of all of those. So they're all A, short A as in apple, and the watch, short O as in orange. Okay, so moving on finally to our third example, which is words ending O-U-G-H. And so here, unfortunately, we have 3 different pronunciations for this. Okay, but once you've learnt them, you should be fine. So cough and trough, that's like the off sound. So cough, cough. And a trough is something that a pig eats out of, a wooden, usually, or metal container that the food is put into for the pig, and the pig eats from the trough. Okay, so cough, trough, off. Then we have enough, rough, and tough with the uff sound. Okay, so enough. Have you had enough? I hope you haven't had enough yet, because I've still got a little bit more to do. Okay, enough. Rough. Rough is the opposite of smooth. If all this material is rough, but some other silk is very smooth, other material can be rough. Okay, and tough, that's someone who's very strong and tough, resilient, tough person. Okay, enough, rough, tough, off. And finally, bow and plough is the OW kind of sound, ow. A bough is part of a tree. So here's the tree. And these things that stick out are the boughs of the tree, these things here. Okay, so that's bough. A plough is used in farming in a field to break up the ground for putting in seeds to grow crops, a plough. So bow, plough, ow. And funnily enough, bow, you've probably noticed, is the same pronunciation but different spelling as this one, this type of bow, that sort of bow. So we have come full circle to bow, that kind of bow. So there we are. I hope that's been a helpful lesson for you. And if you'd like to go to the website, engvid.com, there is a quiz there which you can do to test yourself on this. And if you'd like to subscribe to my YouTube channel, I hope you will do that. And look forward to seeing you again soon. Okay, thanks for listening. Bye.